All right, good morning, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the PreStream podcast with the fancy Elden Ring border for probably one of the final times. Because today we're heading into the very end game of Elden Ring. We are finally there. After, geez, when you think about it, over almost 2.5 months at this point. Yikes. Today is May 6, 2022, Friday. So happy weekend to many of you who are celebrating the weekend and or have a weekend. For me, the weekend is basically just another portion of my streaming week, which is totally cool. But I know many people have school or work or whatever off on the weekends. And good to you. Good for you. A lot of people actually tune into my streams more over the weekend because this is the opportunity they have to tune in. They're busy during the week with all the crazy stuff going on in their lives. So welcome, and I hope that you're all ready for some fun today, okay? Got a couple news stories to talk about on the podcast today. A couple quick ones. They're not super long or anything, but they're kind of interesting. Something to discuss. And now we've kind of formulated what the week is going to actually look like. Previously, we didn't know what this week was going to look like because we didn't know about games like Trek to Yomi and what it was going to be, and was it going to be something significant? Although Monday, to some extent, is still up in the air. And so is kind of the coming week a little bit. And we'll talk about that. Actually, I'm preparing now for the next playthrough, the next big playthrough. Because we are coming to the end of Elden Ring. We are coming to the end of Lego Star Wars. And with those playthroughs ending, guess what? Those are the two main playthroughs. Yeah. So what's next? As I've told you guys, WWE 2K22 is definitely the next thing on my agenda. And actually, last night I was able to get it, and it is already on sale. It's only been out for about less than 2 months now. It came out, I think, second week of March. And already, at least on PlayStation Network, it's being sold for about 25% off, which is good because originally the full price was $70. $70 for this game. The pricing of games on the current gen consoles, it's quite interesting because some game companies / publishers feel that they can charge more for absolutely no good reason. Like, what? Can you please tell me why WWE 2K22 is $69.99, but other games, brand new games coming out on PlayStation 5 are $59.99? They just want $10 extra. There's not even a justification for the extra increase in price, right? But it's already on sale. I was already was able to sell a bunch of money. I think after tax, it ended up being like $54. So only within a couple of months, the prices have dipped. So I actually got it last night. I haven't pre-installed it yet. I actually forgot that I didn't have my PlayStation plugged in to the Ethernet. So I was thinking, maybe it'll download overnight, but I didn't have it plugged in, so it couldn't do it. It likely will download overnight into tomorrow. And the reason that I actually got WWE so early, because, I'm the first opportunity that I'm going to have to play it is sometime next week once we complete Elden Ring, Lego, or both, okay? And I'm definitely playing it on my special event coming up on the 14th, May 14th, which is going to be my 1-year return to YouTube anniversary event right here, a big marathon stream that I'm going to do. So the reason that I wanted to get it ahead of time is because one of the things I'm going to be doing for that event is a special 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal sim match, all right? And I used to do sim matches all the time in the WWE games. They were a ton of fun because the AI is silly and does dumb stuff, and you can get so many interesting created characters usually from the community creations that they make and upload to the community creations. I don't know if they call it like a marketplace or whatever, but man, usually in WWE, you can get so many different characters, pop culture icons, comic book characters, cartoon characters, musicians, actors, all kinds of celebrities, all kinds of junk. And putting them together in a silly over-the-top rope battle royal is one of the best sim matches that I ever used to do. And I used to do it at least once a year. And I haven't done it in many years because WWE has sucked ass or not existed. Okay? So what I wanted to do is for that 1 year return to YouTube anniversary special, one of the fun things I thought would be really neat, since I'm going to be returning to WWE 2K22, returning to WWE games in general in the next week or so, would be to kind of start off with a bang. Let's have our first major giant sim match. And The 30-man matches usually take about an hour. Yeah, they take about an hour because you guys see some entrances, and then the match starts. Usually it's about 45 minutes or more of gameplay. So, yeah, good stuff coming, and I just got to get that downloaded. Now, why did I download it so early, or why am I going to download WWE so early? At least with previous versions of WWE, okay, they limited the amount of community content you could download in one time. I don't know if they're going to do that with this one, but it used to be like you can only download 10 pieces of community content in one sitting, and then you have to wait like 24 hours to download more. And I don't understand that. Like, why are you afraid that someone's going to download all the community content in a day? Like, even if they did, what if someone sat there, okay? What if someone sat there on WWE and literally just downloaded for 24 hours? They just downloaded every piece of content. Why? What would that matter? Why limit that? I never understood that. All it does is it makes it a hassle for someone who wants to set something up. So, anyway, yeah, I will be working on that soon. I'm going to download it and I'm going to check it out because I don't have the game yet, didn't boot it. I want to see, do they have that limitation? If they do, then what I have to do is like once a day during this coming week, I have to sit down with the game and see what's there and download a bunch of stuff to prepare for the sim match that I'm going to do 1 week from tomorrow on that 1 year anniversary marathon, okay? Still in the Shadows is probably would crash the game, and so what? The way I see it is, if you download too much crap and you crash the game, it's your fault. You know what I mean? So I don't understand what the point of the limitation is. It just seems kind of silly. Like they arbitrarily just said, oh, download 10 things to stop them. Why? Did you test it? No, just stop them. What? Huh? It used to be a pain because there was a couple times when I was going to do sim matches and I forgot to download ahead of time. So I would have to rush and then try like last minute download as much as I could. And sometimes I couldn't even get everything I wanted in time. Pretty dumb. Why Mojo Wolf says he doesn't think that limitation exists anymore. He thinks that when he bought it on release that he was able to download as much as he wanted. All right, I hope not. It would be good if I could just sit down in one sitting and get all the stuff I want for the sim match, like maybe a custom arena, and then a bunch of wrestlers and stuff. That would be great, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay. So anyway, welcome to the weekend, my friends. We kind of know what's going on this weekend finally. Oh, by the way, I even have an update on another thing, too. I totally forgot. I was thinking about it last night. Yeah, okay, we got a lot to talk about on this podcast. Let's do it. Let's get started, okay? All right, so today, Friday, May 6th, end game of Elden Ring, okay? We've been playing this game for over 2 months. Holy shit. At this point, we are at 117 parts, with most of the parts being an hour long. I think there were a few errors in there where the parts were slightly shorter. And there's probably a few parts in there where it's like an hour and a half. Because there were some streams where I only did 2 videos instead of 3. All right? But in general, it's about 117 hours of gameplay. I was saying all along with what people were telling me, probably my playthrough would be around 120 hours long. And it looks like I am pretty damn close to being accurate with that assumption. So, today, we're in Farum Azula. Okay? We are in the final major dungeon area. Now, I don't know what's left. I don't know how much dungeon is left. I don't know how many challenges are left. I don't know how many bosses are left. All I know is there's a good amount because people are saying, oh, you're not beating it today. Like, how am I not beating it today? If we're in the final dungeon, final area, final bosses, how am I not beating the game today? It's confusing. But I guess perhaps there is a lot left to it. Or maybe some of these upcoming bosses and things are very challenging. I don't know. I can't imagine them being worse than Millennia. That's insane if they are. I don't think so. I think that they're going to be easier than Millennia. But anyway, yeah, we'll see how far I get today. I'm actually excited for today, and here's why. Now that I've beaten Millennia, and okay, that was the hardest thing in the game, okay? And it was. Holy shit. That was definitely one of the most challenging bosses I've ever fought in a game, and the most challenging From Software boss I've ever fought. Absolutely, positively, 100%. Yes, that's the toughest, okay? And I beat her. I feel a little bit more relieved to kind of jump into the rest of the game with an aspect of, like, an attitude of, I'm gonna have fun. Let's run through, let's maul them with the freaking weapons that I got, right? Let's use the weapon ability, weapon arts, to knock them on their asses. Let's have some fun, as opposed to, oh God, what's coming next? Oh, around every turn there's a horrible risk or whatever. I'm not really feeling like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that's good, obviously. I would like to finish the game within the next week, if not this weekend. So yeah, I'm approaching it with a more positive, open, fun attitude. Okay, and we'll see what happens. I'm still gonna rage, you know I am, but it should be a good time. So I'm actually excited for today's stream of Elden Ring to see what's coming. Okay, cool. Later tonight, it is my weekly late night session of old school Street Fighter fun. Friday Night Fights. And quite frankly, I don't know what version I'm playing this week because I've been going back and forth between PlayStation, Xbox, and it seems like at this point, with less than 2 months left before the new Capcom Fighting Collection is coming out at the end of June, it is completely up in the air what kind of an experience I'm going to have on either version. All right, if I play on the PlayStation version, there's definitely a lot more competition. There's a lot more people playing it, but the game just glitches a lot in that version. Trying to start the match and it just goes to a black screen. You get nothing or it drops. It says, oh, connection lost. And then, of course, the trolling. We got a couple people on there that are just losers who stalk me no matter what lobby I go into and try to fill lobby spots, and you can't kick them out because they never fully finished the game. It literally, the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is an unfinished game. They never finished designing the lobbies. They just released it as is and never improved it or fixed it. So, that being said, if I play on PlayStation, if I get lucky and I get into a good lobby, woohoo! We have a great night. 2 hours of great, challenging, matches and fun. But if I don't, it could be a freaking actual nightmare. It could be like so annoying. Okay? If I play on Xbox, all right, the good news is that you don't have much of that trolling aspect. There's been a couple of idiots trying to troll, and usually I'm able to block them, and they can't troll after a few minutes. It's not a big deal, right? But at the same time, there's way less people playing on Xbox. So trying to find a lobby, if you don't find one right away, can be a huge chore. And you sit there searching, can't find it. Searching, can't find it. All right, well, now I have to go to ranked matches. Oh, can't find a ranked match. It's like, oh, my God. So it's kind of like a pain in the ass either way. Do you put up with a game that's buggy and trolling, but potentially find more players? Potentially, I say, because there's been times we've been doing it for 45 minutes at a time and can't find a good match. Or, on the Xbox side of things, do you avoid the trolling and the crashes, but sit around with no one to play? It's kind of like to pick your poison. What's the worst? The lesser of two evils? Damn. And the thing is, some people are like, well, just drop Street Fighter. I don't want to do that, man. I really don't want to do that. I like Street Fighter so much. It really gives me this cool, reminiscent feeling like I'm back in arcades every Friday night, right? It attaches me to my roots as a gamer of where I came from in arcades back in the day. I'm happy that with this new Capcom Fighting Collection coming out in June that there's going to be a version of Street Fighter 2 in it. I think that's awesome, even though it's not exactly the optimal version of Street Fighter 2. At least I still get to play the classics, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I love doing it. I really don't want to give it up if I can avoid it, I'm having fun with it, doing it once a week. So, tonight, I have no idea what version we're playing. I'll make a decision on the fly, probably, right before the stream starts. And by the way, the good news is, if there's a problem with one version, we can switch to the other, okay? It's possible, so. Okay, yes, why Mojo Wolf, I agree with you. He says, you gotta have nights like that. It's the first games that we'll remember fondly. There you go. Okay. So that's today. Tomorrow, it looks like we're finally finishing Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, after almost 30 hours of gameplay, which is actually impressive. I didn't know I would get that much out of it. At the same time, it's funny that some people say that the game's like 10 hours long. It's like, it's only 10 hours long if you literally don't play it. If you literally rush through every story piece without ever trying to collect Lego pieces, you don't care about unlocking characters, you don't care about solving puzzles, all you want to do is literally get to the goalpost at the end of the field, yeah, it's 10 hours. But for me, taking my time, enjoying the movies and everything, it's been a very lengthy experience, and it looks like we're probably going to beat it tomorrow because we're already into the final movie, Rise of Skywalker, and we've already done a story stage, so likely we're going to complete it tomorrow, okay? And then tomorrow night, Saturday night, another interesting thing, we are returning to Halo Infinite for the first time in a long time, okay? Haven't played Halo Infinite in several months, and the reason we're returning to it is because they have Season 2 that just released the other day. Supposedly new maps, new modes, new content, rebalancing of the engine. It'll be interesting to at least give it a shot. I don't know if it'll be entertaining. Just being honest, it could be great, or it could be boring. It could be crappy. Maybe the improvements are shit. I don't know. I guess we're not going to know until we actually play the game tomorrow night, okay? Then on Sunday, the main gameplay stream will be the conclusion of Trek to Yomi. So, interesting now, because I played Trek to Yomi yesterday, I can actually tell you my opinions on the game, okay? So, Trek to Yomi really does feel kind of like an homage to old-timey filmmaking, okay? The game itself is a 2D action game, mostly combat, although there is some exploration aspects with hidden areas where you can find upgrade items and collectibles. The entire game is black and white, and the entire game has set camera angles, meaning there is no opportunity for you to actually move a camera in this game at all, okay? Because of that, it kind of looks like you're looking at a film set. And the combat, at first, is incredibly simplistic. It's mostly just going to be kind of mashing out combos and or using light or heavy attacks to beat the armor set that the enemy's wearing. Or if you want, you can use the block and parry system. If you parry, basically everything dies with a couple of hits, okay? And the parrying is pretty easy to do once you learn the timing. It's nothing like, it's not Sifu, it's not Dark Souls level. It's pretty simplistic in what it is, okay? Now, as the stages make progress, you will unlock new abilities and new combos, all right? I am now in stage 5, I guess chapter 5 out of 7. And chapter 4, the whole game flipped on its head. Up to that point, it had been more like straight up samurai film, you know, just people fighting each other in like a brutal feudal Japan setting. All of a sudden, chapter 4 went like horror. All of a sudden, you're fighting monsters and stuff. You're like, what is going on? I thought that this game was supposed to be a bunch of samurai, but now all of a sudden you're fighting monsters and stuff. And I don't know if the game's going to continue down that path or not. But it definitely got more interesting. At the same time, it got way more difficult. The first 3 chapters were incredibly piss easy. Like, barely any challenge or interest in the combat. But the problem is, in chapter 4, the only reason the game gets harder is because they throw a bunch of more enemies at you. So now, it's a 2D game. You can't move out of the way of the enemies. If there's on both sides, you're kind of boned. Yes, there are some abilities to turn around and slash behind you or parry behind and throw an enemy around. But if you get a bunch of enemies on either side of you, you're going to be dead. There's nothing you can do about it. You got to basically try to do your best to get all the enemies on one side of you, much like old school 2D games of the past. And then use the proper move to beat said enemy. There's some enemies that only heavy attacks will work. There's some enemies you don't want them to get close. You want to poke them with like a running stab instead. But after 4 chapters and 3 hours of gameplay, here's what I can say. Great visual design. The world itself is very beautiful. All right, I like the way that they designed it to look like an old-timey samurai movie. Okay, the plot is actually getting more interesting the further in you get. Like I said, it started off with just regular samurai and like a feudal war story. Then all of a sudden it went supernatural. And whoa, that's kind of interesting and different. Okay, but the sad part is that the combat, which is the meat of the game, isn't that interesting. It's very simplistic. Even though they're giving you all these combos, you don't really need them, nor can they really be utilized that well. You know, here I am starting chapter 5, and I've probably used 2 to 3 combos in the entire game, out of which they gave you like 10 so far, something crazy like that. You don't need them. Okay, they're just not necessary. They just seem like superfluous to make the game seem more complicated than it is. It's very basic. It's a very, very basic game. Okay. And the problem is that's the meat of the gameplay. The meat of the game is this simplistic combat, and it's just not that fun or riveting. So it's kind of like, okay, kind of force yourself through this combat that's not that good in order to see what the next artistic thing will be, the next cool set design, or the next piece of the story that's interesting, you know? That's not good. Obviously, in a perfect game, you want a combination where everything feels good. I have, like, no desire to do the gameplay of this game, but I want to finish it and see the ending, you see? So tomorrow, I will finish it. There's only 3 chapters left. You have to think, if I beat 4 chapters in the first sitting, I'll probably beat the game tomorrow. People are saying it's only around 4 to 6 hours long anyway. So, excuse me. Tomorrow should be the conclusion of Trek to Yomi, okay? Tomorrow night, more Skyrim. No, excuse me, I say tomorrow. This is Sunday I'm talking about. Sunday, more Trek to Yomi, the conclusion. And then Sunday night, more Skyrim After Hours. We'll continue on with the Dragonborn DLC. It's been very fun. And I'm looking forward to more Skyrim chill with you guys on Sunday night, okay? So now Monday. Now, here's where we're really up in the air, because it really is going to depend on how far we get in Elden Ring. And actually, this is one of the reasons why today I've got the From Software characters border, is because likely between today and probably Monday, it's probably going to be the end of my Elden Ring playthrough. I don't foresee myself playing this another 3-4 streams unless, again, there's such crazy, cruelly challenging stuff at the end of the game. But I beat Melania, so you have to think it can't be as hard as that, you know? I guess we'll see. But anyway, Monday, my next session of Elden Ring. If I beat the game, great. I'd be happy. Finally seeing how it all ends, right? I promised you guys that once I beat Elden Ring, I would review the game. A full review. I'm not just talking, I'll sit here for 5 minutes to talk about it. I want to dissect this game. I want to talk about the pros and cons. I want to talk about what's great and what's not so great and what's kind of mediocre. I actually want to give it a full-fledged review, which I have not done since The Last of Us 2. So it's been about 2 years since I actually do a full review of a game. And I want to do that for you guys because I feel like this game, being as popular as it is and being as interesting as it is, that people seem to have so many positive opinions on it, yet the game has definitely flaws that are, or at least room for improvement. You know what I'm saying? That I want to do that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. When can I do it? If I beat the game on Monday and there's time, like let's say I beat it within an hour on Monday. Oh, I have an extra hour and a half on the stream. I can review the game. But if I play it for Monday and I play for 2-3 hours and that's the stream, now when do I review it? I guess I'm going to have to schedule in another stream. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I guess we have to see. We have to see how it goes today. We have to see how it goes Monday, and that'll determine whether or not I'm going to be able to do it as a review and get it all done by the end of Monday, or if we need to have another session for me to review this game. Okay? Is it going to be a 3-hour review? No. If anything, what I'll do is a night stream then. We'll do one night stream where I review the game. Okay? Okay, so that's Monday. And then Monday night is completely up in the air. I don't know what I'm doing Monday night. Here's why. Because Monday night, either we're going to do more Halo Infinite if I like it on Saturday night, which we don't know if I'm going to like it or not, or if you guys are going to like it. It's undetermined at this point whether it'll be fun or not. We don't know what they've improved, what the new stages are like or anything until I play it, right? If I don't want to do Halo Infinite on Monday night, then it's completely open. And I have so many options of things that I can do. For example, I can go and do a Game Pass game that I've already started and maybe continue it. Maybe I could go back and continue Serious Sam 4 or One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 or Quake or something like that. Just jump right back into one of those games. Okay? Or maybe I could do something interesting like I've been alluding that I want to start a playthrough of Mirror's Edge, the original classic from like 2008, because I never had a chance to really go back and replay the game, direct capture, live stream, and do it justice. When I played it, I was a guy pointing a crooked camera at his TV screen, and it was just terrible visual quality. And although I absolutely loved the game back then, it had bugs and flaws, and I would really like to see this game again. And it's short, by the way. It's not a lengthy game or anything like that. So, that's an idea too. So I actually have no idea what I'm doing on Monday night. Okay, we'll see. Tuesday's my day off from streaming this week. And then, this coming week, we're starting up all new stuff. So definitely at some point this coming week, WWE 2K22 is beginning. I don't know what day, because it depends on if we need more time for Elden Ring or whatever. Okay, I can't promise you when, but it's starting this week. In addition, I think one thing that would be interesting to do would be to do a one-off stream, and it would only be a one-off stream, where we're going to go back to the Forbidden City. Now, some of you probably don't even remember what this game is. It's a game that I was playing back in January from Game Pass. It was completely unique and interesting. Kind of a almost exploration puzzle game, where you get caught in a time warp. You get warped back in time to this ancient underground city, and there's a supernatural aspect to it. We basically beat every ending of the game but one. The problem is the one ending I did not do is because it's insanely complex. The game has all these little objectives you need to complete, and you have to basically complete every single one of them within one day. And when you do that, then you unlock the final ending, which is actually the most interesting one, supposedly. Now, I wanted to do this several different times. The problem is, this game, to beat it, takes about 2 hours to do this true ending. And then on top of that, there's a bunch of story-based dialogue that obviously you don't want to skip. The reason you're playing it is to see the true ending. You don't want to skip through the dialogue for time reasons. So I need like 2.5 hours in order to do this true final ending of the game. And so I need to give myself enough time to do that, you see? So I'm thinking do a one-off stream at some point this coming week where we just play it for one final time, and I have, instructions on how to do everything in order so I can actually complete it and see the missions fold out and see the true ending of the game. Because some people really liked this playthrough back in January. I promised you guys I would eventually go back to it, and I would like to get that done with, so that way we see the ending and we move on. It's not an unfinished project, okay? Excuse me. So that's number one. And then, like I said, WWE will probably start sometime this week as well, the real playthrough. However, we do need to figure out something else. And allow me to explain what I mean by that. We need to figure out another game to play. Because Trek to Yomi's about to finish, Elden Ring's about to finish, and Lego's about to finish. We're going to do a one-off stream of Forgotten City, and then we're going to start WWE. But I'm going to need another major game. Excuse me. Stupid allergies. I'm going to need another major game to be playing during all of this. Okay? Why? Well, there's two reasons why. Okay? Number one, there's not a heck of a lot going on with new releases this month at all, actually. It's quite a dead month for new releases. To give you some perspective, here's the games coming out for the rest of this month. Evil Dead the game on May 13th. Vampire the Masquerade on the 19th, but I'm not particularly interested in that. Sniper Elite 5 comes out on the 26th, and that's on Game Pass. The House of the Dead remake comes out on the 26th, and then Pac-Man Museum Plus comes out on the 27th, and that's also on Game Pass, okay? So when I mention these games, like, okay, what's the next one? Well, the next one is Evil Dead. But last night, since I was already downloading WWE 2K, I said, let me do some research. Let me actually do some research on these games coming out and see what they are. So I researched Evil Dead the game. Shit. It's not what I thought it was, okay? By the way, Chicago Man, we can see you. Well, I don't know why you keep saying test in the chat. We can see you. We can see you talking. Yeah. Evil Dead the game, if you can believe it, all right, is a freaking 4v1 survival style game in the vein of Dead by Daylight or the Friday the 13th game. I did not know that. The whole time, I thought that this game was actually going to be like a story-based game with big horror elements, maybe going through the plots of the different movies. It is nothing like that whatsoever. And I was watching a kind of a beta, someone was playing the beta, and they were doing a kind of a demo of the game to show you how it plays. And I was like, oh no. So here's how it plays. 4 survivors that are based on characters from all the different movies. Basically all 3 Evil Dead movies plus the Evil Dead TV series. You could play as different characters, including Ash and, of course, all the other side characters that have been in the series since the beginning. On the other side, you play that disembodied demon from the original Evil Dead movies that kind of floats around and does fucked up stuff, like possesses monsters and inanimate objects and does crazy things. And basically, you're kind of like, how do you explain it? You're kind of like the dungeon master. You control the obstacles that the humans are going to run into. You're going to send out the Deadites, which are the enemies in this game, to attack them. You're going to set up traps, and there's actually the ability to possess the humans and control them for a limited amount of time and have them fight each other, okay? So, if you like that kind of game, great. But, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like, really? They're going that formula? Dead by Daylight is a really old game at this point. Like, it's been out for a very long time, and people who wanted to play that formula definitely already have. And then we had the rip-off game of Friday the 13th, and that's dead now. It's kind of like, why are they trying to revive this formula of game, right? Like, I wasn't aware that there was a big demand for this kind of game, that we needed another one. Like, we have Dead by Daylight. You know what I'm saying? That's the one. That's the big one everyone still plays. So why are they making kind of a new game in the same vein? And by the way, I'm not saying the game's bad. I'm just saying for me and the kind of content that I put out, I don't think I want to play it. It just doesn't sound to me very interesting at all. It definitely seems like it's going to be something, if you like that kind of game, if you're that kind of streamer, because there are streamers who do that kind of content, perhaps you'll love it. But for me, I don't think I'm going to like it at all. It just doesn't look like it's anything I'd be interested in. So it's disappointing because I like Evil Dead. I love the movie trilogy. I've seen a little bit of the TV show, and I thought it was pretty good. And I was actually excited for this game. And now that I researched the game and I see what it is, I'm like, oh, why did they go that route with the game? It's kind of like, let's just copy everyone else and what they've done instead of doing any kind of an original game. Okay? Hold on one second. Excuse me. You're right. It could have been a Dead by Daylight DLC. You're absolutely right. The whole game could have been a DLC. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay. But yeah, it totally could have been a DLC, right? Why did it have to be its own game? You could have just added in the disembodied demon as a character. You know? I mean, yes, okay. There are some variations. There absolutely are some variations that make it different from Dead by Daylight. But I think you understand the point I'm making. Man, it's disappointing when you think they're making an original, fun Evil Dead game. It's, oh, they're just copying the formula that other people have done. Crap. That kind of sucks, okay? So, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not playing Evil Dead. I don't want to play it. I'm not interested in it. And that sucks because that was going to be the balance. It was going to be Evil Dead and WWE for like a week or two. Maybe with a few variations thrown in until we got to the end of the month for the other new games. And now it's like, uh-oh. Now there's like nothing, okay? So, here's what we need to figure out. We've got this weekend, okay? We do. We have the weekend to talk about this and figure this out. What game do you guys want to see me play next? Is there an idea for a game that I can play until big new releases come out? Is there a downtime game that you guys are interested in seeing me play? Because I'll tell you some of my ideas, okay? Definitely something retro. Like, I've been craving playing a retro game for a very long time. I've been telling you guys this. I want to play something retro. I'm dying to do it. I really am. Like, I'm craving retro games right now. I haven't played one in so long. And I definitely don't want to do, how can I put it? With all the different games that I'm thinking in my head, all right? You know, I already tossed some out as ideas for the summer. And I said, oh, what about either Chrono Trigger or Earthbound or Legend of Zelda Link to the Past? And I think those are all very viable games. But I need to play something that you guys are going to want to see as well. My concern is if I just throw out, oh, I'm just playing this game. I mean, great. That's good. I'm taking control of my content. Why am I so pink again? It's the white balance again. It's getting me. This fucking white balance because I have the window open today. Yeah, I have the window open today because it's cloudy outside, so there's natural light. And now when I do that, the fucking white balance goes crazy. So hold on one second. There. Like, why do I look so pink again? It looks like I'm about to explode. Like I have a blood pressure out of control or something. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. Number one idea, play something retro, but it has to be something you guys want to see and will watch. I can't just say, oh, I'm just playing Earthbound, and then expect people are going to show up. It has to be like, oh, I'm playing Earthbound, and then people get hyped for it. Oh, he's playing Earthbound. This is cool. That's something different and interesting, and we'd like to see Phil play that, and we'll come and support that playthrough. And I don't necessarily know if that would happen. Just being honest. Okay, that's number one. Or it could be something completely different. I was going to play Evil Dead, and I was expecting a horror game. And now there will not be a horror game. So maybe we can find a suitable replacement, a game that's a horror game, to make up for Evil Dead. But what would it be? Have there been any horror games out recently on console that I missed and would be really fun to play? Or is there maybe a retro horror game you guys would like to see me go back and play that I haven't played or could replay that I haven't played in a very long time? And by the way, excuse me, it has to be viable. Here's what I mean by that. A lot of games that I played back in the day were games that were like on PlayStation 3 emulated. I can't even do that anymore. I don't have the ability to emulate games on PS3 because my PS3 doesn't work. You see what I'm saying? So it would have to be something that's on a modern console that I could easily get, and have it be playable, you know. The Quarry comes out next month, Beer Drinker. That's not this month. You're jumping the gun by about a month. Yeah. No, I've not looked up Remothered. I don't even know what that is. Is that a horror game? Remothered? See, I see people saying stuff like Hollow Knight. And it's like, Hollow Knight has had its chance. Many, 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 many times. Many times I did viewer's choice, members choice, event playthrough, nominated game you want to see me. It never makes it. It seems like Hollow Knight is one of those games that has a very vocal community of people who love it, but it's not a giant group. So if I play the game, I will satisfy a very small group of vocal people who wanted to see me play it over the years, but it's not going to be something that everyone wants to see. At least that's the impression I kind of get. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but that's definitely the impression that I kind of get from that game. I'm not saying that I don't want to play it. I do eventually want to play it. I'm interested in it. But is that going to be a game that people want to watch in the middle of May? I don't know. Okay? So here's the thing. Many ideas. I would say a retro game, kind of like the ones that I was thinking of, like Zelda or Earthbound, Chrono Trigger. If we could find a way to play Chrono Trigger, which right now I don't even know if it's viable to play Chrono Trigger, quite frankly. Okay? Or, do we want to see a horror game? And if it is a horror game, what game? I need suggestions, all right, for a horror game. Shadowfix says, what about Martha is Dead? It's a possibility. I would say that's a possibility, however, it's short, right? I've heard the game's only like 5 hours long, so that would be, 2 streams and we're done. So it wouldn't really be anything that's going to have any kind of lengthy staying power. Stanley Parable. I've heard a few people ask me if I would play it, and I was like, well, I already played it back in the day. And they're like, oh, well, there's a new one with new content. Okay, but is there really a massive demand for that? But I think we're in a situation right now where, because this particular May is going to be a weird, slow month with almost nothing going on mainstream, no giant AAA releases, what you're going to end up happening, okay, what you're going to end up happening is you're going to have people that want to see this, want to see this, want to see this, but there's not going to be a consensus. It's going to be some people want this, some people want this, some people want this, and no matter what I choose, there's going to be disappointed people because I didn't pick what they wanted, because there wasn't one major mainstream game to focus attention. You see what I'm saying? So it's going to be challenging, I feel. The other thing you guys got to realize, WWE 2K22 has an audience, but it's not everyone. It's going to be a group of people who like wrestling. People who don't like wrestling probably are not going to care about this game. That's how it always is. So I would hope that those who have been asking for this game for over 2 months will come and support the streams, but that's kind of for a niche audience. You know what I'm saying? Mega Man. I kind of already did a classic marathon of Mega Man a few years ago when I played the Genesis Mini. It had the first 3 Mega Man games together in one. And I forget what it was called. The Wily Wars, I think it was something like that. Yeah. Code Veronica. Here's the thing, AMC. How would I play it? How would I play Code Veronica? Is it available either on PlayStation Network or Xbox Live on a modern console? Or are you talking, oh, that was available years and years ago as a downloadable game on PlayStation 3 and I can't get it anymore? I personally don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It is on PS4. Okay, it's on PS4. So I'd be able to play it on PS5. I see. Oh, I originally played it on Xbox 360 apparently anyway. Well, then I probably already own it. I could re-download it on my Xbox Series X then. Jade, sadly, as much as I kind of agree with you, Jade suggested, what about Fatal Frame Made in the Black Water? I thought that was going to be a great idea. I actually bought that game when it was brand new on the Wii U for a Halloween marathon. It actually came out Halloween week many years ago. I remember I got a costume. I dressed up like a Ghostbuster to play the game. That was the game. I was like, I'm a Ghostbuster. I'm going in. I'm going to bust these ghosts in Fatal Frame. I played for about an hour, and everyone was bored. Everyone says, this game is one of the most boring, non-scary games. I was like, God damn, that sucks. because everyone agrees that the early Fatal Frame games are better, but they were never really remade, and then the new one no one really likes. So, sadly, yeah, I don't think that's going to work. So, here's the deal. I need some suggestions. That's interesting. Stormports Gamer says, what about the Lost Judgment DLC? Here's the thing. That could work, but look at all the playthroughs I'm already kind of doing. I'm already doing incredibly drawn-out playthroughs, finishing incredibly drawn-out playthroughs. I don't know if a Japanese-style game like that is going to make sense right now. You know, I need something that either is going to be short and sweet and we can keep moving on to other new stuff to keep stuff fresh, or I need something that if it's going to be a more lengthy game, it's going to bring people to the streams and they're going to engage and support. You know what I'm saying? I understand that people are kind of suggesting a bunch of little indie games. Oh, what about, what was the one here? What about Mortal Shell? What about Hollow Knight? I feel like those are games that, yes, they would have an audience, but it's going to be a small vocal audience, and it's not going to be anything that's going to hold off. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, usually, the way that my streams go, being a variety streamer, is as follows. I got one big game. Whatever it may be. It's usually a big AAA style game that I play. And it might not be new, but it's still a big game that gets everyone excited. So in January, we had Skyrim and we had Resident Evil 4. Those were the big games. And then on night streams, I did things like Halo, Street Fighter, and other kind of chill streams at night. You see? That was the balance. I'm looking for that balance right now. And the balance is going to be WWE, but I need something to offset WWE. I feel like Hollow Knight would be a good night stream game. That's not a main daytime stream style of game. It's a low budget, smaller scale, indie style game. It's not going to be entertaining. You know what I'm saying? It's good. That's good for a chill stream at night. Exactly right. Rusty says they have more of an audience for a chill stream. You hit it on the head. Those are chill stream games. Those are not main daytime stream games. You see? JadFX really wants to see me play Disco Elysium. What he doesn't realize is that we had opportunity to play Disco Elysium already. Yeah, we already had opportunity, and people didn't even pick it. It was on Game Pass. People didn't even want to see it. Yeah. Switch Sports. Here's the problem with Switch Sports, okay? Switch Sports is a game for one stream, 1 hour. It's really fun. Then you've seen all the Switch Sports, and you're bored to tears. It's the same shit over and over. That's a game. It's meant to be a party game you play with your friends and family. It's not a stream game. It's only a stream game if you're going to team up with people across the internet or you're going to have people come over your house and play it and fuck around. Even then, it's not something that has longevity. That's a flash in the pan, play it once, oh, it's hilarious, okay, move on kind of a deal. Much like all the other motion control games that I played in the past, that's how I approached all of them. Those were ongoing series. That was like, okay, play it once, all right, we've seen it, right? Well, as you guys can see, we have some work to do. We have to talk about this. Let's all think collectively. I'll think, you guys think. Please keep sharing your ideas. Let's throw ideas off of each other in the next few days, because basically around the middle of next week is when we're going to have opportunity to start up a new playthrough outside of WWE. And that's when we're going to have to decide what's going to be next, okay? Okay? All right, and by the way, again, we're not looking for chill stream type games. We're looking for games that are going to hold an audience during the daytime. We're not looking for, a relaxing night stream where Phil's interactive with his audience. We have plenty of those. We're not looking for more of those. We're looking for things to hold a daytime session, okay? Okay, let's move on because we got other stuff to talk about on today's PreStream podcast. Okay, so next week, we're going to see the conclusion of Elden Ring, maybe on Monday. We're definitely going to see the review of Elden Ring, okay? We're going to have a one-off stream of the Lost City to finish that up. Or is it the Forgotten City? We're going to do a one-off stream of the Forgotten City to finish that. And we're going to start WWE 2K22. On Saturday the 14th, okay, Saturday the 14th of May, that's the marathon. That is the 1-year Return to YouTube anniversary marathon. It's going to be a good combination of stuff, including Feasting with the King, DSP reacts to Down the Rabbit Hole Dark Side Phil, the first ever sim match in WWE 2K22. It's going to be the over-the-top battle royal. And something else, too. I'm not sure what yet. I'm strongly leaning towards just ending it with some chill Skyrim, but we'll see. All right, so it'll be a good variety of stuff for that day. And then after that, we're on to normal playthroughs for pretty much 2 straight weeks until we get to those new games at the end of the month. So that's what I mean. That's why we really got to think about, besides WWE, what's next, okay? So we'll start thinking about that. Let's talk about it over the week. Let's try to figure out what would make sense. I would love to do a retro game. I'm nervous people won't attend. Seriously, like, I would love right now to play Zelda Link to the Past, Earthbound, or Chrono Trigger. But I'm afraid if I start playing those games, people won't show up and support them. That's my major concern. It is. I need people to come and watch my content and support it. I can't just be on playing it for me, you know? So I would need buy-in for those games. Okay. Play Genital Jousting. Okay. So, guys, that's really all I have to say about my streams this morning. All right? We do have a couple of news stories to cover, and then we're going to get to shout-outs. All right? Let's talk about the news stories. So, first of all, gaming news-wise, we have some actual updates about Final Fantasy 16. Really? Yeah. This game has been, like, dead. We have heard absolutely nothing about this game in a very long time. Little snippets here or there, but nothing concrete. Finally, there was a near reincarnation stream. Don't ask me what that is. And I guess Yoshi P, I don't know if he's someone who works on the game or is even the head designer, he might be, said the following. The full trailer for Final Fantasy 16 is already done. Certain factors caused the announcement of the game to be delayed, but it should drop soon. And what people are assuming by this means, as you know, in the next 1 to 2 months, there's a ton of digital events coming out. There's a Sony event. They're assuming it's going to be one of those events where Final Fantasy 16 will finally be formally announced with release date info. Okay? Number 2, the dev team spent a very long time polishing and debugging the game. And number 3, the game is pretty much done. It's ready to go. They could sell it today if they wanted to. So the game, that's why we haven't heard about it in so long. They just took their time, but didn't say anything. So I guess it's not to create overly over-the-top expectations and disappoint people. But essentially, this is kind of, this. You know what this reminds me of? You remember years ago when they announced Fallout 4 out of nowhere during the Bethesda press conference at E3? They're like, oh yeah, by the way, it comes out this fall. And everyone was like, huh? They're like, yeah, it's done. It's ready to go. Like, what the shit? This reminds me of that. So we're going to get a trailer for Final Fantasy 16 soon. And then the game was going to come out relatively quick. I would say probably by the fall. Damn, that's cool. Think about how long it's been since Final Fantasy 15. A long-ass time. And boy, that game, an unfinished mess, right? It was good for what it was, but man, it was disappointing because, as I said at the time, that game could have been the best Final Fantasy game ever made if it was done. And you could tell the game's not done. It's an unfinished mess. So, I'm excited for this. You guys know, I grew up playing Final Fantasy. I've played most of them. And, you know, I'm excited for this one. Hopefully it's good. I really hope it's good. Okay? So that's one piece of news. There's another piece of news that incredibly confuses me. Maybe you guys can shed some light on this because I'm not really understanding this story, I don't think. Okay? So it's been reported. Nvidia. This is the primarily a graphics card maker. You know, they make GPUs for computers. But also, they do other stuff, peripherals and things too. They have been fined $5.5 million by the Securities and Exchange Commission for hiding how many gaming GPUs were sold to crypto miners. The SEC has found that Nvidia misled their own investors by reporting a huge boost in revenue related to gaming and hiding how much of its success relied on the crypto market. So, apparently someone blew a whistle, reported them, complained, and said they were saying that sales were up as a result of gamers buying their products. And I guess investors were misled to invest more money into them. But come to find out, their sales had nothing to do with gaming. It was because crypto miners wanted to mine cryptocurrency and were buying up all the graphics cards in the market, which actually is the reason why graphics cards have been insanely expensive and very scarce in the last 5+ years, right? I mean, yes, now you can argue that COVID just compounded that with the scarcity of processors as well, but that's pretty crazy, all right? Now, here's my question. Here's why I'm so confused about this article, okay? I'm a company and I sell a product, okay? I don't know. I sell I sell a face mask. All right? And this mask, and by the way, I'm not saying it's a COVID mask. I'm saying a mask to cover your whole face, like hide your identity. Okay? The mask just gets sold. You sell a bunch, you become very profitable, and to the point where the mask is almost sold out, you can't really get it anywhere anymore. Okay? Great. You're profitable. You did good as a company. So your investors or potential investors who want to invest in your company ask about your sales. And you say, yeah, well, you know, the primary purpose that we designed this mask for is to protect the face, to do it blocks UV rays. It's supposed to be a mask for work purposes, right? So you report to investors, we sold so many, and people obviously really like the mask. It must be for what we designed it for, right? Well, come to find out, actually, criminals have found out this mask is the best mask to hide your identity. And everyone is buying the mask and committing crimes with it, right? Now, that's not what the mask is intended for. It was designed for work purposes, UV blocking, maybe it filters air, who knows? But criminals love it. Oh, man, I wear that mask and I could pull off so many crimes and no one could see my face. And, you know, would you hold the mask maker accountable for saying, oh, we sold a bunch of masks, so people must like it for the purpose we designed it for, right? That kind of sounds to me like what happened here with Nvidia. Nvidia did not make graphics cards to mine cryptocurrency. It sounds like that is a byproduct of a thing that it can do, but that's not the actual design of the product, right? It's designed to run graphics programs, video games, etc. That's what Nvidia graphics cards are made for, right? So if you're reporting your earnings to potential investors, you're going to say, yeah, people must really like our product because here it is, you know, gamers must love Nvidia. Look at our sales, they're really good. And then investors decided to reinvest, but come to find out, oops, actually it was crypto miners, and when a crypto market crashes, now there goes all that money, right? So that's really what confuses me. And here's the other thing, all right? How the fuck do you know who's buying your product, right? You're just selling your product to retailers. You're selling your product to wholesalers. Yes, there's some direct sales as well across the internet, right from Nvidia. But in general, Nvidia is selling their product all over the place. How the hell would you possibly know the reason why someone bought your graphics card, right? It could be for gaming. It could be for crypto mining. It could have been a gift. It could have been there's a company that needs to mass build PCs because they resell them on the internet. You don't know what the end use of that card is. How is that even your fucking business? All you do is make them, right? So what I'm really confused about is how they were held accountable. So if people are saying mining isn't illegal, lying to investors purposely is. How did they lie to investors? Again, how would they have this data? This is what I don't understand. It's like the SEC is under the impression that Nvidia should have known who was buying their graphics cards and then properly reported that data to investors. How? Right? How would you even have that data? That's like so confusing to me. If you're a company that manufactures a product, the product is popular, how the fuck do you know who's buying and how they're using your product? Where would you even get how would you get reliable data on that? An online survey? That's not reliable, right? You don't have, when you buy an Nvidia graphics card, do you have to prove the reason you're buying it? Oh, you can only buy this card if you outright prove you're going to play video games with it, right? What are you talking about? No, anyone could buy it, right? So to me, I don't understand this at all, right? I really don't understand this. How is it even possible the SEC can hold Nvidia accountable for this? Again, it sounds to me like there's details here that are definitely missing. What exactly did Nvidia do wrong? What law or regulation did they violate? What did they directly tell investors? Right? Did they outright lie? Did they say, we have data, and the data says that most people who buy our graphics cards are gamers, and therefore, because gaming is taking off as a market, you can invest in us because we're going to make a lot of money selling these cards to gamers. Is that what happened? Because that's not clear from what's being reported right now in the media at all. And I don't understand how they could be held accountable for this. Honey Badger says you keep data on who you sell to. If I'm saying I'm selling 10,000 units to retail stores and then backdoor them to minors, that's misleading. So what you're saying, Honey Badger, is that they lied, they blatantly lied about their sales numbers, saying, oh, look, we sold this direct to consumer, retail or whatever, but then they actually did have a backdoor to data. How would they even know? Again, here we go. How would you know you're selling to a data miner? How would you know that? Hi, my name is John Data Miner. I'm going to buy I want to order for 1,000 graphics cards. How the fuck do you know the end use of your product? I just don't understand this at all. It's very confusing to me. And how could you hold them responsible for $5.5 million? Crypto mining is not data mining. Well, I'm saying, crypto mining is what we're talking about. The company's sales personnel, in particular in China, reported what they believe to be significant increases in demand for gaming GPUs as a result of crypto mining, the order says. Huh? So you're saying they did admit that it was because of crypto mining. But that's not what they were fined for, saying they didn't say it, that they were being deceptive. This story makes no sense. I don't get it. This story doesn't make any sense to me. I can't make heads or tails of it. I can't. I can't make heads or tails of it at all. I don't know what's going on. That's not inaccurate. Demand did go up for the cards because of miners and gamers both wanting them. This is confusing. They gave sales reports to investors and lied to emphasize sales for gaming. How? How do you... I don't even understand where the data comes from. I went to a group of investors. I said, hey, just so you guys know, our products are really popular with gamers right now, and the market's on the rise. Look at gaming sales. Gaming sales are at an all-time high. You invest with us, you're going to make a lot of money, man. The investor would look and say, how the fuck do you know you're selling to gamers? What are you talking about? Can you prove that statement? And Nvidia would have been like, meh. So the investors are dumb? I just don't get it. Like, I just don't understand it. Super Bad Cat says you cannot lie about sales numbers. Companies have a way to track what cards are used for. Now, wait a minute. I got to blow my nose, by the way. My allergies are bothering me. You're telling me that if I buy a graphics card, all right? Right? And it's an Nvidia card. Nvidia can track my card use and say what I'm using my graphics card for? What? What? Well. Oh, my stupid nose. Ah! Well, I don't know about you guys, but this sure sounds to me like a huge invasion of privacy, right? I don't want anyone knowing what I'm using my equipment for. Can you imagine if I told people I was going to be using this webcam to stream my ugly face across the internet, and play video games? Logitech would probably refuse the sale. They'd be like, you can't have that. No, we're taking that back. We don't want that. We got to prevent that from happening. That sounds like bad stuff, man. We don't want to be involved in that, right? Oh my god. I'm just confused. I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the story. I get the feeling I am. Because I read 2 different articles about it, and neither of them went into detail. I'm like, well, this is like, unless you really extrapolate upon the story, I don't know how you can understand it. Like, I'm trying to understand how Nvidia is at fault here. I want to know. Like, I'm interested in this. I'm interested in tech. I'm interested in the industry. What did Nvidia do wrong? How did they outright lie to investors? And how were investors so dumb as to believe that Nvidia would have the data of what people use graphics cards for? Like, and by the way, why do investors fucking care either? Like, if a sale is a sale, all right, and if sales are up right now because of fucking crypto mining, then sales are up because of crypto mining. Invest and make money, right? If you're afraid that the crypto mining market will crash, then don't invest in something that's involved in that. Unless Nvidia was outright lying and saying, we're not involved in this. We have nothing to do with crypto mining at all. Maybe that's what it was, right? All right, guys, I think that's enough of this story. That's enough. The Final Fantasy 16 story is way better. I'm excited for that. I can't wait for the game to finally get some information all over the internet for it, because I want to know. We haven't had a Final Fantasy game in so many years, and 15 was so potentially good and flopped on its face because it was unfinished. I want a nice... They're saying it's done and polished and everything. They're saying this game is good. Good. I want to play a great game. I want to play a good RPG. Sounds good to me. Okay. Okay. The stock rose 30% because people thought the gaming market was rising. After the next quarter results came in, it fell nearly 60% and people lost their money. The crypto market is on a boom and bust cycle. Right now it's in a bear market. With money being lost, you'll see this kind of thing happen. Okay. Okay. So somehow Nvidia lied. They misrepresented. They never emphasized the reason there was a big sharp increase in sales is because of crypto mining. And now that it's a market that's like this with crypto mining, right? Sometimes it's very, oh, we need a lot, and then, oh, it's not a big deal. The sales went way down. When the sales went way down, investors lost money. Okay, I think I understand the story now. If Nvidia had just kept their mouths shut and said, here's our sales numbers, and investors said, well, why did you sell that much? They said, we don't know, but our sales are good. It would have been on the investor. But Nvidia had to open their big dumb mouth and say, oh, it's because gamers and gaming is up, and they had no evidence of that. Gotcha. Now I understand the situation. That is pretty stupid. Okay. Guys, let's do shout-outs. We start off today with a shout-out to Alex Major, who became a member this morning. Thank you very much to Alex Major for the membership. Just for the hell of it, I will check and see how many members we have. I guarantee you they went down. Seriously. Because we only have one new member this morning, I almost bet that these members went down. But let me confirm that before I be a negative Nancy here. No, according to this, we're at 393. We went up. All right. Well, now I'm kind of happy that I checked. Now I'm actually kind of happy because it was a positive movement. Cool. And our first tipper of the day is Slayer. Slayer once again is asking about me checking on some channels he suggested for React content. No, Slayer, I hate to report, I still haven't checked them out. Right now, my focus is the upcoming event, which is going to be me reacting to the Down the Rabbit Hole about myself. And then, for us to even qualify for the next React event, we have a lot of members we need to get. So for me, I'm not even really looking into, I already have some good suggestions. Like I said, either reacting to one of the original This Is How You Don't Play videos, reacting to the John and Howard video, or maybe doing something else from Down the Rabbit Hole, which I already have permission to do. Any of that stuff is already open season. I'm good to go. I'm cleared to do that kind of stuff. And it seems like there is interest in that stuff. Okay? So, that's why I'm not really 100% dying to find other stuff to do React content to. I'm just being honest. I'm not doing React content that often, as you see. I did one, it was over 2 weeks ago now. Well, just about 2 weeks ago now. It would have been 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And I'm doing the next one in a week, right? After that, probably the next possible one would be another 2 to 3 weeks to a month. I'm not doing these all the time. So I'm not constantly seeking a new source of data in order to do these videos. I feel like we have, at this point anyway, we have a good amount. But I appreciate your suggestion. I've saved your information, your email. I will look into it when I'm looking for that, okay? But I'm not in any rush right now, quite frankly. So. Okay, Alex Major says, I think 2 streams for Elden Ring should be more than enough, unless a boss gives you bad RNG. Fair enough. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Q&A. Let's do some open Q&A. Please tag me in the stream chat. All right? if you're interested in asking me a question. Or you could do a contribution. I give shout-outs for all contributions. Okay? That's a lie, Dave. It was, someone was telling me it was 125. At least that's what people were saying when I beat Melania. They said it was 125 tries and I beat her on the 125th try. But I wasn't tracking, so I'm going off what people told me. Thoughts on anti-doping in pro video games? Anytime there's a serious competition and a serious reward is involved, whether it be cash, prizes, or whatever, there should be regulations in place to make sure people aren't doing something to get an unfair advantage. And if that means doping, like taking drugs or whatever, yeah. Back in the Street Fighter days, there were people who were taking actual drugs and supplements that were allowing them to go crazy and just hyper-focus, bad reactions. I know for a fact it was happening. But there was no regulation. There was nothing to say you can't do that. And so, there was always unfair advantage. And there was nothing you could do about it. Today, perhaps things are different, but back then, there was nothing. Alex Major says, not sure if it was asked, what's your favorite Elden Ring boss up to now? Overall, in the entirety of the game, probably Moog. The one with, you know, the real version with the bloody wings and everything. That's just an insane looking fight. Like, that's like you're in hell, you're fighting the devil, right? That's what it feels like. And it's cool like that. I like that. And I like that it actually had a phase that was so difficult, you had to try to strategize to get around it and beat it. Because he's always going to have that blood move shit. And he's always going to suck all your health away. And you're like, damn, how do I get around it, right? It was actually fun for me to try to plot out in my head a game plan to take him out and get around that. I really enjoyed that. So Moog overall, although I would say top 3 bosses in the game for me so far, you know, Moog and Moog, what'd you call? Oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. Oh, Astel. Astel is the alien, right? Yeah, Moog, Astel, and of course Melania. Those are my 3 favorite boss fights in the whole game right now. So, there you go. Having a glitch here. I'm trying to reload a screen and getting a glitch. Here we go. Okay. Will I ever do another retrospective event since Simpson 0213? You know, I like the retrospective events. I do. I like sitting down and looking back at the past and looking through some of your guys' favorite moments from my now almost 14 years of content creation, if you can believe it. Yes, as of this fall, it'll be 14 straight years that I've been making content for you guys. And it's cool because not only in a lot of cases is it the first time I'm watching back that stuff a second time, but then I get to kind of see where I came from, my roots, the mistakes that I made in the past, and how different I am today, that kind of stuff. I actually really like them. But I think what happens is, over time, it gets kind of, it loses its interest. When I first announced I was going to do those events, people were really keen to the idea. Oh, this is something interesting and different and fun, right? But then after I did like 3 or 4 of them, right? Now it's like, well, now you've kind of been there, done that. We've already done the biggest moments, the biggest things people wanted to see, right? And then you're, okay, what are the secondary things? The third stringers, the fourth stringer things that people liked, but aren't necessarily the big mainstream things that were the best moments in Phil's history that people want to see. And I think that's what ended up happening is, at first, the events were great. At first, it was like, wow, look at all this fun content Phil did over the years, his biggest hits, let's react to them. But then after the 3rd, 4th event, it's kind of like, well, we kind of already reacted to most of it. A lot of the times, people would request the same shit again. It's like, we already did it. You know, we already reacted to this content. You want me to react to it again? You know? So, that's really what happened to those retrospective streams, is that they kind of got played out. And I even had a couple times when there was a monthly goal for a retrospective stream, and we didn't even hit the goal. People didn't want it. You see? Commando Gadget Plays did a super chat and says, is Melania the hardest boss you've ever fought in a Souls game? Yes. Not, I would say not the most annoying, because there are some Souls bosses that are just really badly designed and they're fucking annoying, like Bed of Chaos. But certainly for head-up difficulty, yes. Definitely the hardest of any. Just only on the RNG factor that she has 2 attacks. She has that dash forward triple slash, and if she hits you with the triple slash, she gets almost all her health back. And she has the waterfall dance. Okay? Those two things. All right? Those are the two big ones that, in my opinion, are so annoying that if you get bad RNG and she just decides to do any combination of those two moves back to back, you're fucked. It's game over. You can't get away. You can't dodge. You can't do anything. You're going to get killed. And that's kind of bullshit. That's really difficult to get around, you know? Other than that, I think the fights are fun and fair. It's just that one factor is really annoying, but man, it's just tough. Any boss that's going to auto heal when they hit you, you already made it to you. A tank cannot survive. A tank cannot win. It's a war of attrition. You take health away, they get health back. You take health away, they get health back. Like, geez, this is ridiculous. Okay. Alex Major says, even parrying Melania sucks. You have to parry her 3 times to get a repost. Damn. And I'm assuming you cannot parry, like, the waterfall dance and shit, right? Probably not. Whew. Tough fight, man. Okay. What's next? Do I still have any DVDs or Blu-rays? Very few. Most of them are, like, holiday themed. Like, at one point a couple years ago, when I was very low on funds, I traded in most of my DVD collection for cash. I just needed the cash at the time. So really, I have like a bunch of holiday, like Christmas movies and stuff, a couple of Halloween themed things, but I don't have much at all anymore. Very, very small remnants of what I used to have. Todd says, in a dream situation where I could take off an entire week during the summertime, what would I do? Would I travel somewhere or stick around home and do stuff in your local area? Interesting, because it really depends on so many factors. Like, if I had time off and money, all right, then you know, it's one thing if you just have time off. Just time off, yeah, I don't have any money, so I'm just going to stick around. But, of course, I would have some fun with my wife around here locally. We would probably do some house cleaning, some maybe home improvements and things that we can do on a local scale. If I had time off and actually cash to spend as well, then yeah, travel would definitely be something we would be interested in. Although I doubt that we'd be going anywhere crazy. You know, it's kind of like you're asking dream vacation stuff. Dream vacation, we go to Europe for a week and go to like Italy and France and England and stuff like that. Or go to Japan and go to touristy stuff there and take in the culture there. You know, that would be like, you know, if I had unlimited funds, unlimited time. But if I had just like a week off where I didn't have to work, but you know, it was kind of like a stay-at-home thing, that would be equally fun to spend time with my wife and have a, you know, opportunity to do fun stuff together. So, Burnt Zapato says they've sent me a tip. Thank you, because Burnt Zapato has to send it behind the scenes apparently. Apparently he's not able to send it through other stuff. So Burnt Zapato, is this you? The wait a minute, no, that's not it. Aha, here it is. It's just coming through. Thank you very much for a $10 tip. Is it, wait, is this you? Was it $10, Burnt Zapato? Is this you? I want to make sure this is you. Yes, he says it is him. Okay, good. So a $10 tip from Burnt Zapato, and yes, that will count. So let's get that up on the leaderboard. Thank you, Burnt Zapato, for the first, well, the second tip of the day. Excuse me. I believe, by the way, Burnt Zapato, I think you can send a message, too. I think there's like a text field that you can send if you're going to tip that way, and you can actually have a message in there. Because 1 Minute Man, who does that all the time, actually sometimes sends a message. Like on my birthday, he said, "Happy birthday, Phil." And I was like, oh, that was nice of him. So thank you, Burnt Zapato, for the tip. I appreciate it. Thank you for telling me, because that's, since you're doing it this way, this is how I can tell that you're sending it. Thank you. No, I don't have Cash App. Do I still drink energy drinks? Being 40, it's not good for you, maybe not good for your heart. I do not drink any energy drinks. I have a cup of coffee in the morning, and then usually around halfway through the day between the streams, like I'll have dinner, and then I'll have a cup of coffee around dinner time. And I looked into it. Yes, you can have coffee like that. It's fine. It's only if you keep having like a lot of coffee. Like if you have 4, 5, 6 cups of coffee, that's when it actually really negatively affects your body. Only having 1 or 2 cups a day is not bad. In fact, some health experts actually think it's good for you. It's weird because everyone has debates about it. But I don't drink excessive amounts of coffee or anything like that. So... But no, I don't. Those energy drinks are disgusting anyway. They taste like shit. Anything that has that taurine in it, oh, that shit is so fucking nasty. So it's got to be terrible for you too. Calvin Bernstein did a $1.50 tip. Says, now that you've viewed the Rings of Redemption Down the Rabbit Hole, would you go on the Painkiller Already podcast? Well, let me put it this way. All right. If those guys were interested in having me on the podcast to have a genuinely honest conversation, yeah, maybe I would. Because I'll be honest, I really feel like that documentary does not paint them in a good light at all. It doesn't. But that's one side of the story. That's certainly not the whole story, right? That's one portion of the story. That I'm sure those guys have a completely different perspective, okay? But I'll be honest, I hate the content that they put out that has ads all over it. And I would tell them that straight to their face. I'm like, guys, this show you're making right now is a piece of shit. Half your fucking show is an ad. It looks like shit. Really. Like, can you fucking make some content without being a shill for 5 seconds? And I would tell them that. The first thing I would say when I'm on their show would be that. I'd be like, I can't say a word on your show till I tell you how bad it looks. Okay. Pat the Baker really wants me to see me blow bubbles. I have the bubble blower in the game. Maybe I'll use that weapon. I'll blow some bubbles in the game, right? Christian says there's a Game Pass game coming called Gorgoa, a puzzle game, hand-drawn 4-panel page with a beautiful art style. Could work as a chill night game. Okay. What? I should make a shell company to avoid taxes on tips. That would be a very bad idea. Sorry that I see, here's the thing. When I became a content creator, there was no groundwork laid. There was no example to follow. Okay? So I've made many mistakes over the years as a content creator. However, Wesley Snipes went to jail for not paying his taxes. And I learned from Wesley Snipes, I must claim all income and pay taxes on it. All right? I'm not going there. I'm making sure that everything is kosher. I pay taxes on all of my tips. I qualify them all properly. I learned. I had a good example and I learned from it. Okay. Devin says, the Quartering bought a coffee company. Would you take a sponsorship from him if he sent you coffee to drink on stream? You don't have to do a positive review. If it was, let me put it this way. All right. If I was able to honestly evaluate the product, I liked the product, and then I wanted to plug it, yes. But that would be the only situation. Not, oh, I'm shilling the product that I don't even use or like myself, and I'm telling my viewers to try it and use it and buy it. I wouldn't do that. It would have to be an honest, oh, I've tried the product myself. I actually like the product. I'm going to give my real recommendation. It's not even a paid recommendation. It's like, I like the product. Then I would do it. That would be the only situation. And if that was the case, no. You would have a giant pop-up in the corner of my videos. Oh, buy Quartering coffee today. No, that would never happen. It would, you guys know me. Any interest in Rogue Legacy 2? I have no idea what that is. 4 Waffles and Tomorrow is both my cats' birthdays. Well, happy early birthday to both of your cats. Shout out to them. Will I ever interview Wings or Boogie? Maybe. Never say never, but I'm not interested in it right now, but never say never. That's terrible. That's not true at all, Expand Dong. He says, I heard you can legally circumvent taxes by making PayPal tips come in under friends and family. That's completely wrong. What people sometimes do, which I think is messed up, they'll misclassify tips, and what you do is you can get around PayPal fees by doing that. It's terrible, and I do not do that, by the way. No. All tips that come in for me, PayPal takes their cut, and I pay my taxes on it. It's all 100% kosher. But I have heard that there are content creators back there. They say, oh, send to friends and family. That way we don't lose any processing fees. Like, dude, you're gaming the system. You're playing a very dangerous game. That's going to catch up with you. What if PayPal catches wind of that? What if you're actually misclassifying it as something it's not, right? I've actually heard some people say that they know for a fact that there's content creators who say that all tips are like gifts, and that they try to get away with saying, oh, there's a certain threshold of gifts that you don't have to pay taxes on. Like, no, wrong. You are so fucking yourself. You are so fucking yourself if you do that kind of shit. Evan did a super chat saying, did $1.50 tips, says buy Tesla stock ASAP. Well, that's some great advice. As you know, everyone comes to my stream for sound stock investment advice. Thank you very much, Evan, for that. We really appreciate that. We're all going to run out and buy Tesla stock. What are you talking about? JMO, I am going to try out Sniper Elite 5. It's a Game Pass game. At the end of this month, I will try it. Doesn't mean I'm going to do a full playthrough of it, but I'll give it a shot. Jade is suggesting, how about One Piece and an old school Sonic game? Well, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, I am considering doing as a playthrough on late streams, but it's not going to be a mainstream game. It's old, and I don't think there's much demand for it. Old school Sonic games are already coming, Jade. If you're not aware, there's a Sonic collection coming out in June, late June, and I'm going to be playing the classic Sonics, but that's already coming up, so it would make no sense to do any of them right now. Now someone named Tevin tipped $1.50, says, in addition to Painkiller already, would I collaborate with old school machinima content creators? I have absolutely no relation to them. I don't even know who you would be talking about. Yeah. I don't have anything to do with machinima or their content creators. Never did I really anyway. Even when I was part of machinima, I didn't have any association with them. There was no crossovers or no collaborations. So, Darcy X says, do you find the Alduin statue a nightmare to clean because of the spaces? Not really. You see a duster. All you use a duster and you go, and usually gets most or all the dust off. It's not a big, I don't hand clean it with a cloth. You just dust. You know, occasionally come in here and dust stuff. Do I owe student loans? I do not. My student loans were paid a while ago. In fact, it was actually at the very beginning when I started on YouTube and started making a living on YouTube. I started making big money those first few years, and I paid off all that kind of debt from my previous life, including my student loans. I've already played Sonic Adventure before. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it again, but I've already done a full playthrough of it. All right, guys. I think we've dilly-dallied enough. I think it's time to end the pre-stream and get started with Elden Ring, although I do have to take a leak before we do that. So let's end the pre-stream, get set up, and then I'll, take a quick break just to use the restroom and get started. I'm actually very excited. As I said at the very beginning of this podcast, now I'm gotten past the hardest part of the game, okay? Everything else here, I'm not saying it's cake, but I'm going to approach it with a more fun, open-minded attitude and, use the weapon arts, which I've been stingy with using. I'm going to start using them more and have fun with the end of it. I'm excited to see how it all ends. So I hope you guys are too. Thank you guys for a great pre-stream podcast. It's time to get started with the main event. Sound good? All right.